Hi, I've been doing YouTube now for 3 months, and in this video, I'm going to share with you everything that I've learned in 10 minutes. So, at the point of recording this video, I've gained 139 subscribers and I've posted roughly 35 videos. So, the first thing that I've learned is that it is actually a lot of time that goes into doing these videos. On the face of it, when you're watching YouTube, you're watching a 10-minute video, but in actual fact, people have to think about what it is they're going to film. They have to come up with a rough idea of what it is they're going to say. And then how does that get recorded and edited? And then you have to think about how you package it in the form of titles and thumbnails. You're constantly looking at what other people in your niche are doing on YouTube and what sort of videos are popular at the moment. And you're engaging with the people who do come along and comment on your videos. And the reality is actually is a lot of work. My assumption is that you're trying to grow a channel because you would like to turn it into a business. And if you're trying to turn a YouTube channel into a business, if you are doing that on the side of working full-time or looking after a family or anything like else that would take up your time, it's actually quite a big ask. It is more difficult than you think in terms of finding time. And people often talked about burnout on YouTube, and I couldn't really understand what that meant, but now I kind of do. I wouldn't say I've suffered burnout particularly, but I do struggle for time. I do stay up later than what I used to do because it's the only opportunity I get to kind of edit videos. There's a risk of burnout there for sure, and I think that if there's one nugget of wisdom I could put on to everyone else is that only commit to what you can comfortably do. So if that's one video a week, then that's what you target. The second thing I've learned about YouTube is that growth is slower than what you would hope for. That's not to say that I came into this thinking that, well, I'll just do a couple of videos, one will go viral and I'll be an overnight success, because I know that that is very unlikely. I've watched enough and consumed enough YouTube videos to know that that isn't the case. However, I had hoped to get monetized within 12 months. I'm a quarter of the way through that. I've got 139 subscribers, and my watch time, I don't know the number offhand, but it's like a few hundred hours. 4,000 watch hours in a year is what you need. So I'm nowhere near that. And I think that people I'd watched had said as well that you have to commit to it for the long haul. And, to maybe get monetized would take potentially even a couple of years or more. It just all depends. No two people's routes to getting monetized are the same. Everyone goes at their own pace, and there can be a multitude of reasons why that happens. So you're just running your own race, and there's no guarantees that trying certain things or going or taking certain approaches that other people have done is going to give you that same success in the same time frame. So if you are going to do this, just know that it's not an overnight thing. It does take time, it takes commitment and discipline. But it brings me on to my next point, which is despite having to be disciplined and dedicating the time and having to be patient, it's actually a lot of fun. Like I really enjoy this now. Not that I didn't at the beginning. I went into the beginning with an open mind because I didn't know what. I thought, I like the idea of it, but will I actually like the practice of doing it? But the answer is, yeah, I do. And I would say that most people, if they stick at it for 3 months, will find that they enjoy it as well. It's something I look forward to now. I find having these discussions out in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere, quite therapeutic. It's almost like kind of self-counseling in some ways. And so I actually enjoy the process. I enjoy doing the editing. I enjoy coming up with the titles and the thumbnails, and then once it's published, engaging with the people that do comment on it now. Getting that community, which is another point, is a rewarding element of YouTube. You don't, it starts off quiet. No one really knows who you are. No one's finding your videos yet. Slowly but surely, you will start to see the same faces showing up, the same people commenting on your video, and you do start to build up a community. Lives has been an amazing way to do that, and I mean a combination of going live myself. I've only done two, but joining other people's lives. So people that might be in the same niche as you, or YouTube creator communities. I need to put a big shout out to Rob the Maritimer, who is, if you haven't heard of him, in terms of YouTube growth, he's a top channel to look at. He's a very nice guy, and he talks about how to grow your channel, and he does lives every Tuesday night, and he gives up 2, 3, sometimes close to 4 hours of his time answering questions. And what is great about that is twofold: is you can lean on him for knowledge, but also you've got other like-minded people within that live video who are all looking to grow their channels as well. And you start to build up a rapport with these people, and you start to see this community building. And in fact, I did a live a couple of nights ago, which is only my second one, and a lot of the people, excuse me, there's a fly buzzing around. A lot of the people who joined that, in fact, I think maybe pretty much all of them who joined my live were regulars on Rob's live as well, and have subscribed to my channel. So, and we're all there to encourage one another and support each other, because as I said, it can be quite a lonely experience to start with when you feel like you're just putting videos out there and no one's really seeing them. But if you persevere and if you actively participate in other people's lives, then you can start to build that community really quickly, and that can be really encouraging and can help to spur you on. So the community, I'd say, if you're going to do YouTube, definitely lean into that community element of it. Engage with other channels. Go and join people's live streams and things like that. That little hoverfly is determined to get himself on camera. The other thing I've learned is, in terms of emotions, YouTube is a complete roller coaster. You'll have highs and you'll have lows. You just have to ride that tide. There's videos that you put out that you think you're not that happy with, for whatever reason, and they do well. And then you have other videos that you produce that you're really happy with, really proud of. You put it out there and nothing really happens. It's frustrating because you think that you've given everything in that video that the algorithm would possibly need to promote that video. Maybe the video does get promoted, but people just don't take you up on it. They don't click on it for whatever reason. You can tear your hair out studying analytics on YouTube and trying to understand what went wrong. What I've learned is that the better way to focus your energy is just to focus on the next video. Accept that certain videos are going to land well and some aren't. And if you just carry on and keep striving to improve your videos, then you will start to get videos that do well. And it's those videos that do well that are going to give you the majority of your growth in your channel. So just accept that it's part of the process, that in producing these videos, not every single one of them is going to be a winner. It's a time-consuming and an emotionally consuming process, YouTube. So don't spend too much time dwelling on the videos that didn't do well. That's probably a lesson that I've learned. Something else I've learned is that needing all the right gear just doesn't really matter. I'm filming this on my smartphone. I've got a £20 tripod. Yes, I've got a microphone which cost me £90, I think. So that was a little bit of an outlay. But I have set up a studio, but I don't use it an awful lot. I much prefer being out in the open like this. I find it far more comfortable to speak in. Sure, not everyone has a field like this just right outside their house that they can go away and not be disrupted, but for me, I find that just using my phone, it's easier as well. There's no messing about with SD cards and all that kind of stuff. It streamlined my process, which when I'm trying to make more videos and trying to kind of keep producing content, making the operation as slick as possible is obviously going to be a winner. So if you're sitting thinking that you need fancy cameras and fancy lights and all this kind of stuff in order to get started, you don't need to be out in an outdoor space like this. You can literally be sat in a room in your house, next to a window that's offering natural light with your smartphone and a microphone. If you're inside, you don't even need a microphone. You could just use the one that's built into your camera. If you're going to spend any money, my advice would be to get a microphone before anything else. And, because audio quality will help to keep people engaged. The better you sound, the better your message lands, is kind of my take on things. So I would say if you can afford to, then buy a microphone, but you don't have to spend a fortune on one. But yeah, gear, really isn't a huge thing. You can get started without it, so don't let that hold you back. The other thing I was going to talk about here was self-growth, because although the channel's grown slower than I'd have liked, the growth of me as a person has been substantial. You know, I wouldn't say I'm an introvert or an extrovert. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I wasn't really sure, about speaking in front of camera. Didn't like how I looked or sounded. Obviously, as a result of that, I was quite nervous and not really being myself in camera properly. Almost having to try and come across too polished. And what I've learned is that actually people respond really well to people who are just authentic and just be themselves and don't worry about making mistakes. And once you kind of give yourself permission to to make mistakes and not be perfect, it just immediately helps to relax you. And in terms of it being cringe seeing yourself on camera and hearing yourself on camera, that goes away. That goes away really quickly. It doesn't feel like it's going to when you start, but I've spoken about this in other videos. But the important thing to remember is the only person who finds it strange is you, and just with practice, and repetition of doing it, of doing the process of making videos, then that awkwardness goes away and that cringiness goes away. I record now, I don't feel awkward at all sitting here speaking to the camera, and when I'm editing my videos and hearing myself back, I don't feel weird. And I remember other people when I was starting out saying that same thing, and at the time thinking, I find that hard to believe. I think I'll always find myself really strange to hear and see, but it's true. You do lose that completely. It's not even a thing now. I don't even think about it. So again, if that's something that would be holding you back from starting your channel and putting your first videos out there, please don't let it. Just kind of take the confidence from what other people have told you, and that is that will go with time. The sooner you start, the sooner you get those reps in and normalize it, that goes away. Another thing that I've learned that I think will be valuable for you is when you are starting out in your channel and you're doing your research, you will naturally lean on gurus, as we all call them, to get advice on how to get started and how to take your channel to the next level and all this type of stuff. And there's lots of so-called gurus that are out there on YouTube, but not all of them are going to give you information and tips that are actually going to help you. So my advice and the thing I've learned is to pick your gurus wisely. For me, and I'm going to mention him for the second time in this video, Rob the Maritimer has been a huge influence on me. He says it like it is. He's a very relatable person. He's very humble and modest in what he's done with his channel, and there's none of these stupid tips from him about putting, as I said before, putting a hashtag into your video that's going to suddenly make you go viral. He doesn't talk like that. He just talks very honestly and openly about growing a YouTube channel, and that's what I'm trying to do in my videos, is to not kind of try and kid on that there's quick and easy ways to do this, because there's not. And other people that fall into that category are Kevin Colby as well, very similar in terms of his kind of delivery as well, and just again someone who I feel I've got a lot of trust in. And then you've got other people like Brian G. Johnson, Alexa Saranova, who has been not doing it for that long, has grown her channel to be quite big. Ty Myers is another person who I think is, he's probably is the nearest to me in terms of size of channel and length of time that he's been doing it, but he's grown his channel really well. He's a very down to earth person. He has really good tips, and I would say that if you are looking for people to help you grow your YouTube channel, then you should consider them, and maybe listen to me a little bit as well. Although these guys have got a bit more experience than me, but yeah, pick the people you want to speak to wisely, or the people you want to listen to wisely rather, because they will help you They are, their content on their channels genuinely is built out of trying to help people, rather than people that are in it for themselves and just trying to grow their channels and get money from people. And it's amazing, the more people you watch, you start to understand, the more you study YouTube growth on YouTube, you you start to get a feel for the difference between the two and who falls into what category. So if you want to grow successfully, I don't know how you grow unsuccessfully, but if you want to grow your channel, pick those people wisely. And as I say, the people that I've named, and I'll drop a link to their channels in the description. You can't go wrong listening to these guys. They know what they're talking about. They're a huge help to me, and I know they're help to a lot of other people as well. So consider following them if you don't already. In conclusion, 3 months in, it's a lot of hard work, but it's fun. The growth is starting to come along. I am beginning to see traction. It wasn't quick, and I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's necessarily going to suddenly ramp up in pace all of a sudden. I think there's a bit of a medium to long road ahead for me to get the channel where I would like it to be. But I'm seeing the early signs of things, and the message I want to make for anyone who's watching this that is either not quite 3 months in yet or hasn't started yet is that if you are inclined to start a channel, I think you absolutely should do it. You won't know until you try whether it's something you will actually like. If you find that you do like it, I think you'll find that you'll make even more time to do it and you'll lean into it more, especially if you involve yourself in these communities like I've spoken about, because you'll have a lot of like-minded people, like-minded creatives around you to inspire you and to encourage you. So I think that, yeah, you won't know until you start and give it a try. That would be the best bit of advice I could give is, if you're sitting on the fence about it, give it a try. If you're scared for whatever reason, imposter syndrome, worried about how you look on camera, technophobe, doesn't matter. Just do it. Just try it. Let's see, no fancy gear. You don't have to worry about how you look or sound. Just get the camera in front of you and start talking to the camera about something that you're passionate about, and go from there. I would say that if you do that, then there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to look back. Just remember, everyone's journey is different, and there's no right or wrong way to get to where you want to get to with YouTube. So just, if you've started already, stick at it. If you haven't started, I urge you and encourage you to do so. And if you're going to do so, if you let me know in the comments, where are you with your channel? Have you started yet? What's holding you back? When are you going to start? What's your niche going to be about? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you all. All that remains is for me to wish you a good day, an even better week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.